Welcome everyone to the Marylhurst University webinar, where we will feature our art programs at the university. During today's presentation, you'll enjoy hearing from Donna Davis, our Associate Director of Admissions. You'll also hear from Victoria Reese, our admissions counselor. My name is Liz Lehman. I'm a Marylhurst staff representative, and I'll be moderating today's webinar. We also have a surprise guest for you today. We're joined by our Art Programs Director, Derek Franklin. And Derek was able to join us at the last minute, so I will let him introduce himself and share a warm welcome to you all.
Hi, thank you for attending the Marylhurst Art Programs webinar. I'd like to welcome you to the university, even if it's online and not in person, but we hope to see you in person soon. I enjoy your interest in our program. I'm really excited about what we have coming up next year. We have a lot of new programs in community engagement, mentorship, and redeveloping our curriculum to fit a more contemporary and entrepreneurial workforce. We're really excited about B.A. and B.F.A. programs in the visual arts going into the future, because it's been a steady growth into different industries, including design build, research and development, and we've geared our program around that. B.F.A. students do a one-year research and development thesis program where they develop a pretty intense research project that culminates in a visual art exhibition in our regionally renowned art gym, which is a museum-like gallery space on the university campus. We would like to extend an open invitation to come to our facilities, reach out to me as a faculty member, or any other of our faculty members here at Marylhurst. Thank you for your time and looking for information from our programs.
Great, thank you, Derek. We're all really thrilled that you're taking time out of your day to learn more about our art programs at Marylhurst University. So our agenda for the webinar today will begin with an introduction into Marylhurst. We'll call attention to specific features and benefits that our students appreciate. Today's presenters will then also talk about the art degree options and how each program can address your individual professional goals. We'll then dive into the application process and all of the scholarships available to you. It's also our goal today to address the questions that you're joining us today with. I know many of you, that's the reason for joining us. You have specific questions about our art degree programs, and we want to address those. Go ahead and reserve those questions until the end. We're setting aside the second half of today's presentation just to address those questions. We're also recording the webinar for your convenience, so there's no need to copy down the content that you see on each slide. Following today's presentation, you'll receive an email with a link to view this webinar as often as you'd like. So let's jump into the specifics about Marylhurst University and our art degree programs. Donna, would you like to introduce Marylhurst and highlight what students can expect about the experience here at the campus?
I would love to. As you can see, a beautiful shot of our front door in the B.F.A. building here on campus. Marylhurst is a small private university. We were founded in 1893 by the Sisters of the Holy Names of Jesus and Mary, and we offer bachelor's and graduate degrees that integrate really professional studies with applied liberal arts. We're a small school. We have about 800 students. We expect 800 to 900 this fall. Classes, non-art classes, would be small discussion-based and writing intensive, but of course your art classes are going to be very studio centered. So we are considered non-traditional, and that means we are very transfer-friendly. In fact, the most transfer-friendly school I've ever encountered. Our students actually must have at least 30 credits of regionally accredited quarter credits to transfer in and get started at Marylhurst. So we were happy to talk to you about that. The class schedules are flexible. Now, a lot of art classes are in the day, but there's also evening and weekend options. We have a lot of online classes, but not so much in the art programs. But the campus is so beautiful. People always comment when they come on campus, and we hope you will too, the feeling that they have just coming onto campus. It's a beautiful place. And you see a picture on this slide of that beautiful tree that turns, it's a ginkgo tree, I think, and it reflects in that particular north-facing window. One of the studios, there's two key studios that face the north light, and just fantastic studio space. So that's one of the things we're known for with our art programs. And I'd say just in general, Marylhurst programs that are most popular probably are art therapy and music therapy. We're very well known because they're such unique kinds of programs. But business, teaching, and not to forget about credit for prior learning. So we're very non-traditional, option. So.
And the credit for prior learning, students often have questions about that, so I want to address that really quickly. That involves a series of writing essays to communicate what you've learned in your prior work life experience. But students also can sit for an exam, is that right?
There are also exams that people can earn up to half their credits in a 180 credit, quarter credit degree through prior learning, both essay writing and tests. Not many people do that, but it's an option, and I know students who have done that. So yeah, we'll be happy to talk to you about those things.
An option certainly to speed through the program and save some money along the way.
Yes.
Yeah. Thanks, Dawn. So tell us about the benefits and features unique to Marylhurst Art Department then.
Can I take the reins on
Yeah,
this?
please. So let me introduce Victoria Reese. She's our admissions counselor.
Yeah. So our art department really is something special in the region in that it is thoroughly grounded in a school that emphasizes applied liberal arts. And this applied piece of our approach to the liberal arts extends itself into our art department, right? So we understand that the meaning and making of art processes both can lead to an expertise in the media, but also to skills and tactics and approaches to problem solving that you can take into all kinds of different fields. So our faculty in particular really kind of try to push artists in our programs to both understand what they're doing and how they're doing it, and then kind of create these kind of transferable skills that you can take out into the world and the workforce that set you apart. It's a collaborative, as it says on the screen, it's a collaborative yet individualized pedagogy. So you get a lot of critique from your classmates and your professors, but you're also asked to define success on your own terms, and our faculty will help you get there. It's grounded in theory, history, and criticism, so it's not just about the making, but again, why you're making it, why is it important, and why is your art important in particular. And one thing that our students oftentimes are drawn to is that our artistic community is kind of leaning more towards a therapeutic way of art making and the process and not just the product, right? So this, I think, is helped along by the fact that the art department shares a facility with our art therapy master's program. Many of the students who do pursue a BA in art do go on to our art therapy counseling master's degree. So you have supportive, caring, creative people to share this journey with.
We also offer a popular BA in art program, and do you want to talk about how those two are different from one another?
Sure. Well, I'll start with the B.F.A.
Sorry about that.
It's okay. Just to kind of give you, but yeah, so we'll compare and contrast. We have two different paths to an art degree. There's a B.F.A. and a B.A. The B.F.A. is really designed more for students who see themselves having an active studio practice and going on and being a professional artist, or going on to a master's, an MFA program, and wanting to teach art at the college level. So it has, it kind of combines these conceptual courses and kind of studio courses with, as Derek mentioned earlier, the thesis year project where you have a individual studio space in Baxter Hall on the back of our property. It's yours to, create with as you wish, and students have a mentor that helps guide the process, and it culminates with some art writing to kind of frame your project, and then a show in the art gym. So that's an exciting opportunity for students and really kind of get their foot in the door of the artistic community at Portland at large. Yeah.
Now let's talk about the B.A. in art.
Yeah, so the B.F.A. and the B.A. in art do share a lot of the same foundational courses. What would make a student choose the B.A. in art is if they knew that they wanted to go on into a more art adjacent kind of profession. Like if you wanted to go on to an MA in teaching program, the B.A. in art would be a great fundamental if you wanted to go on to be an art teacher at the high school level, for example, or elementary school level. It also would be the stepping stone to the Master's in Art Therapy Counseling. Or if you, again, wanted to take your art degree and go on to the business world or go into a different field, it allows it's a smaller major, so there's 64 credits in the major, so you could pick up a minor or bring in more transfer credits. So it's a more flexible way to still kind of ground yourself in this artistic practice, but allow for more flexibility and options. One thing that kind of culminates the BA in art is the internship, and that's where you get to be placed in an artistic location of your choice. This year we have a couple people doing internships at PICA, which is the Institute of Contemporary Art downtown. We've had students intern at the Portland Art Museum. And then for students that want to take their art making in a different direction, we can also connect you with an art internship, for example, in the school district or even in the Clackamas Juvenile Detention Center. Those are some different ways our BA and art students are engaging with the community.
Diverse but very fascinating work that our students are leading. Yeah. When we consider the programs in the department, we also shouldn't ignore our B.F.A. in interior design, and that program has produced a number of regionally recognized interior designers. So Victoria, would you like to briefly introduce that interior design program as well?
Sure, yeah, we love our interior design program. There's some of the foundational courses are shared with art students. So you might have a class, if you're going into the art program, you might have a class that has some interior designers in there as well. It's, it's a really exciting field. It's CETA accredited, which means that you can go straight out the gate and get a job at a well-respected commercial design firm. It kind of marries the creative side that art asks of you with real practical demands, right? Because you need to be able to make these large-scale spaces. And I think that one thing that the interior design program kind of embodies is our ongoing commitment to social justice and creating change through the art that's being done here.
Yeah. The built environment, yeah.
Yeah, building places be the change you want to see in the world. Build the room as a building you want to see in the world.
I'll just add one thing. This is Donna. This year, we are reintroducing the interior program with two different kinds of options. One that shortens the program down to a 3-year time frame around the studio sequences, and the other is really new, and that is we are taking and transfer the Associate of Applied Science and Interior Design from Portland Community College, and it results in a 2-year program to earn your B.F.A. here at Marylhurst. So that's real exciting and real new for us, and we're very excited about it.
Great. The art department is represented, as you both know, by inspiring and professional artists who contribute their work out in the community back to the classroom. We heard from Derek Franklin, our director of the art programs. But Victoria, would you like to touch on Derek's experience specifically? He didn't share much about his background.
Yeah, so Derek we're super excited to have Derek leading our art department. He joined the program about 2 years ago. He just moved back to Oregon after some time over on the East Coast. He had a gallery in Brooklyn that showed all kinds of artists, and now he's back, leading our art department. So he's super well connected in the art community, both in Portland and nationally and internationally. So he can definitely help you get where you want to go. And here's kind of a list of some of his accolades, because that matters in the art world.
Yeah.
We also have other faculty members joining Derek.
Well, I'll say something about Rich. Rich has taught here for I don't know how many years, but very well-known photographer in the area. And I just have to say one of the students' favorite classes that he leads is in the summer, and it's photography on the road. And he loves to take students out to really beautiful settings, whether it's on the coast or in different remote areas, certainly the Gorge, the Columbia Gorge. But he's just like the Pied Piper of photography. And he also helps students shake up their world and makes it safe for them to really explore photography in a new way. So he's a super member of our faculty.
Yeah, our faculty, just to mention our photography facilities, we're one of the kind of few places left on Earth maybe that has a chemical darkroom that you can use. So there's definitely room for digital techniques, but if you like that kind of old-fashioned, dip your hands in the chemicals kind of thing, you can do that here too.
Good point.
And let me tell you a little bit about Marina, who is the director of our interior design program. So Marina comes from, she maintains a professional practice with her design company Olivine, which focuses on both interiors and also garden design. She received her training down at the University of Oregon and has taught and worked as a designer for the past 30 years. So I think she kind of exemplifies this kind of practitioner faculty that we have here on campus. So people who really are connected to active professional communities and then come, as Liz mentioned, and share what they know with their students.
We're excited to have Marina. So we touched briefly on the career path for our art majors, but Victoria, would you like to explain what it means to be an artist leader and then share with us some of the work of our art students?
Sure. So, it's easy to kind of think about all the different kind of obvious kind of professional directions you could take yourself into. You could be an art instructor, you could be an art dealer, you could be a gallery director, you could be an artistic director, you could be a museum curator or preparator, you could be an arts writer, you could be an art handler, all kinds of different artistic directions you could take an art degree. But as I mentioned earlier, the skills that you learn in Marylhurst's art department really can be applied to a lot of different settings where creativity, leadership, problem solving, and persistence, and the kind of mental capacities you need when you're struggling with an artwork to make it right. You can take those out into all kinds of different leadership and management positions. And don't we need creative and caring leaders?
Yes, we do. That's what I call transferable skills.
Yes. And we are really proud of we're proud of all of our graduates. We have an amazing community of alumni, and one that really stands out is Jordan Van Seist. He started with us a few years ago and just finished his B.F.A program this year. And while he was in the B.F.A program, he was already making work that was catching the eye of international photography contests. This photo here won him a solo show in London a few years ago that he did, I think, probably in one of Rich's classes. He's a veteran of the Marine Corps. A lot of our students and alumni are veterans. He's also got some work up in the combat paper show that's at the Portland Art Museum here in town right now. And then in the fall, he's going to begin the MA in teaching program here, so he can pass on what he knows to future artists.
We are excited to congratulate Jordan on all of his success.
Yes, sir.
So many of you are probably also considering scholarships, the application process when you're considering a B.A. or a B.F.A. in art, and we want to make sure that you're prepared with all of the resources that Marylhurst makes available, including scholarships. Donna, would you like to share some of the new scholarships that we've just made available and have a lot of people talking?
Yes, thank you. We, well, 3 of these. Now, I'll start with military scholarship. Anyone who has seen some active duty and is eligible for the military scholarship is worth $1,000 a term throughout their time with us here at Marylhurst. And there's one little page form you fill out. It's very simple. So we'd love to talk to you about that. But the 3 that follow, if you're a Phi Theta Kappa member, Honor Society member, when you are admitted to Marylhurst, that's worth $5,000 a year for up to 3 years, and that's no joke. The President's Scholarship, if you're not a Phi Theta Kappa member, but you have a 3.5 GPA or higher, you can be eligible. I mean, we can tell you right now, you are eligible for $4,000 a year for up to 3 years. Which is a very nice scholarship amount. And if you have a 3.0 or above, or 3.0 to 3.5, that's worth about $3,000 right off the top per year for over 3 years. So these are very generous, and we can tell you right upon seeing your transcripts, you will be eligible for one of these, if you meet the criteria. So we're very happy about that. All students, I will say all students are reviewed for any Marylhurst scholarships they may be eligible for upon being admitted to Marylhurst. Some require the FAFSA to be filled out, others do not. Now, for example, the Art and Interior Design certificates and also the Caldera are among some of those Marylhurst scholarships that you may be eligible for. And again, we know once you apply and are admitted and everything is reviewed, like I say, we're so small. We have between 800 and 900 students. So we're not like a great big school where it takes a long time or months to find out what you're eligible for in aid. Oftentimes we can kind of estimate what it might look like, and oftentimes I've found students are able to get a lot more than what we even thought, because there are these other ones that are not even listed on here. So Marylhurst is quite wonderful in the area of scholarship.
Yes, we want to make it affordable to you.
Right.
Now, let's say someone's ready to apply. I love that we're greeted here by our unofficial mascot, the squirrel, welcoming you to campus. But when someone is ready to apply to one of our art degree programs, where should they start? What would you recommend?
Well, there's the website right there, marylhurst.edu, and you just go to, I think it's the second little link over under Apply Now, and it's really quite simple. There is no application fee. If I can get through that application, you can get through that application. It's very simple. A login, and then you go in and you fill in about 3 different areas, submit, and then that begins the application process. We will order your transcripts for you. We have a transcript release form that we can get to you, or it's available right there on the site under admissions requirements. And once you get that to Victoria or I, we can get those ordered for you. Upon getting your transcripts, provided your GPA works, is above a 2.25, we're on the path. We're moving forward. Then it's a matter of maybe filling out the FAFSA if you're going to use financial aid. And there's only one other form that you access after you're admitted, and then we can put together that package. So we've made it as simple as we can. This year especially, we really streamlined the process, and we don't want barriers to be in the way of moving forward with your goals and your plans.
And there's still time for fall.
Absolutely, that's the key thing. We're enrolling lots of students right now. In fact, remember I said we're non-traditional. One area where we're very non-traditional is we really cater to students who sometimes are very, very busy and very last minute in making up their mind or getting to taking care of business. And we can help you with that. But there's plenty of time, both for the application process, for getting transcripts, and most importantly, for financial aid. Just this morning, I talked to a student and said, can I still do that? And I said, yeah, of course. We work in real time, so we're here to help.
Very accommodating to students that are balancing everything else that life throws at you, so that's great. So we know, I mentioned this at the beginning of our conversation today, but we know that many of you are joining us with questions in mind. We want to address those for you. So go ahead and use the question box associated with this webinar now, and go ahead and enter your questions. Even if you have questions that are unique or specific to your own circumstances, go ahead and type them in. We might not address them for everyone on the call today, but Donna and Victoria will follow up with you directly to have a one-on-one conversation. Chances are, though, I think a lot of your questions might be helpful to answer for everyone attending today. So you should see a questions box there on your screen. You can go ahead and just type those in, and we'll read them out loud and address them for you. We actually have one already, and I'll let Donna or Victoria answer this, but the student wants to know how our students engage in the community and in practical art making processes throughout the program.
Yeah, so I think that the sense of community engagement is really huge in the art department in particular. There are kind of formal ways for students to engage in the community through, for example, the internship process. I think that that's really a key factor or part of the major path. There's also more kind of optional ways for students to engage. Derek is really connected with some social justice and activist communities throughout Portland. For example, he's working right now to put together a show with Don't Shoot Portland at Knight and Williamson Gallery downtown Portland. It's called Stolen Angels. There's also some work that's been done with the Portland Art Museum and in collaboration with PNCA to put up some similar work that kind of addresses police violence or the effects of police violence in Portland. I know that the art department also is closely involved with Marylhurst Equity and Empowerment Program, which put on a really cool event here on campus called the Peace and Love Open Mic, which happened kind of right on the tails of some pretty serious hate crimes here in Portland earlier this year. So that was a way that we kind of brought community activists to our campus to kind of build a sense of shared responsibility. And so those are some kind of highlights that have happened. I think the Art Gym also is an interesting resource to students, which brings engaged artists, again, to campus to help create those connections, which can kind of keep the flow going.
So many opportunities to be involved in the Portland community and beyond, really, as an art student. So we're excited about that.
Yeah.
We have a student that's asking about campus housing in 2018. Would either of you like to speak to how that will be accommodated moving forward?
Well, this is Donna. There's still talk and there's still planning. I don't think we have a hard and fast knowledge of it, that we're going to be able to launch that in 2018, but it is a part of an overriding 5-year plan for the school. I don't know if, do you have any other knowledge about that, Victoria?
I know that decision makers are excited about this, and
Yeah.
I know that it's been said that we're opening housing in 2018, and I think we're working towards that goal, and as things kind of solidify, of course, we'll have more updates about that, but it still won't be like a super widespread campus housing. I know that they're kind of looking at more small scale kind of things. So we are a commuter campus. This is kind of a good time, I guess, to mention that because we do welcome students from out of the area and out of the country, and we'll help you find a place in town or nearby that suits your needs. But we currently don't have on-campus housing. That's the goal for 2018.
Yeah, I've heard
Stay tuned.
many staff and faculty having conversations with students about housing, and there are housing opportunities in the area, and we're a close community, so.
Yeah, and we're lucky that we are far enough south of Portland that there are local towns not too far by Oregon City, Gladstone, that haven't been hit with these waves of gentrification and rising housing. There's still affordable housing nearby.
Right, right.
Portland is getting harder and harder, but we're far enough south that there's accessible housing for sure.
Someone also is asking about volunteer time. So is there a volunteer amount of time requirement to be accepted into the Marylhurst program?
That's a great question, and for the undergraduate bachelor programs, there is no requirement for volunteer time. However, people interested in art therapy, there is, I think, 300 hours of human services work that they want to see for obvious reasons, to know if this path is something that is really going to be suited for the student. So for the undergraduate, no, there's no volunteer requirement at all. But graduate, especially for art therapy, since it's a clinical therapeutic program, there is.
It looks like we have a few other questions that are specific to those individuals, so we will go ahead and follow up with them directly. If you think of other questions, please reach out to us. Donna or Victoria would be happy to speak with you and learn about your personal objectives for completing an art degree with us. Thank you for taking the time to spend your afternoon, and we look forward to working with you in the future and welcoming you to campus.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.